Mommy's not feeling well. Just go with Mommy, okay?
Number 9 is also concerning one of the survivors. Enzo returns home. He feels a little off. There's something wrong with him. He thinks he might have just caught something. He doesn't know what. And he's slowly starting to change. He's hungry, but nothing fulfills him the way it should be. So he's in the kitchen, and he sees in the fridge a raw steak marinating. And he takes it out, and he looks at it, and then he starts drinking the steak juice. And you see his starting to develop stinger just like unfold out of his face. So that's pretty weird. That's okay. But that's not what makes this list. What makes this list is his wife walks in, sees him feeding on the steak, looks at him, and walks out. This scene is never mentioned again.
I feel wonderful. Strong, energized, no pain. When does my,
Number 8. This scene takes place after Eldridge Palmer gets healed by the Master, and he is feeling good about life. He's probably got a little bit of spring in his step, there's a dandy song playing in his head, and he is on a mission, and that is to get this city back into his controlled version of chaos. So in he goes to the woman who's trying to shut everything down, and he's like, we need to have a talk. And then the camera kind of pulls back, and you witness Eichhorst talking to this one guy, and this one guy's like, so are you German? And he's like, I'm originally from there, and he looks like the happiest mother you have ever seen in your life, just having this conversation. And in the background, you just see Eldridge Palmer picking up this woman and tossing her off the balcony, and she screams all the way down.
If you blinked, you might have missed it.
But it was there.
But it was there.
And naturally the guy who's talking to Eichhorst is like, I'll do whatever you want.
I did everything I could do to stop him.
I think we'll keep him.
You guys might want to get back in the tower. Monsters are going boom, boom.
Number 7 takes place in the season finale of The Strain. Our characters are assaulting the Master's main base. Satrakan, F, and Zach are attacking the Master when the rest of the group is dealing with all of the Master's lackeys. Satrakan and F are actually getting there. They have the Master cornered. Things are going their way. And the Master panics. And he calls to all of his minions to come back, using his mental mind control powers. And the camera moves back to where the main group is fighting the massive vampire horde. And then things get silly. Because as all these vampires are being called back to the Master, they moonwalk backwards, their eyes are glowing. And everybody is standing there just like, that just happened.
And this is an example of why this show is just so ridiculous, because half the time you have amazing special effects and things are creepy when they're supposed to be, but holy crap, when the special effects are bad, they're bad.
Really bad.
Maybe you would like some revenge.
Well, you know what? Now that you mention it.
Number 6. Now this scene takes place way into the series when we are actually finding out what's going on, and we are following Gus. Gus is figuring out what's going on the other side, where there are more Masters, and Folksy. And Folksy is giving Gus an education. So what does he do? He pushes Gus into a dark room, turns the lights on, and what does he see when he looks around? Masters on dollies. They're wrapped up like mummies, ooh, strapped to dollies that you would use to move boxes. Now I find this freaking hilarious because these are like the evil overlords of darkness. You'd think they'd have something a little more classy to be moved around on. Like, I don't know, maybe a fancy forklift Or, I don't know, maybe a statue pedestal, something, but not moving dollies. This was just the funniest scene I have ever seen because, come on, evil overlords of darkness, they must have something better.
If we wake them, we'll have to feed them. I don't think you'd enjoy that.
I need the rules. What kills these things, aside from direct sunlight?
Number 5 brings us back to our final confrontation with the Master. Throughout the series, the rules have been constantly shoved into the viewers' heads. This is mostly because F refuses to accept them, so he has to constantly be reminded of them. The main rule is the vampires cannot go out in the sun. Come back to our major confrontation with the Master. He's cornered. He's calling for help. And then he falls out a window into direct sunlight, and all of our characters are standing there looking down. And they're thinking, this is it. We've finally done it. We're gonna kill him. It's over. The Master gets up, crawls down the side of the building, and is gone, leaving all of our characters standing there looking at each other with big, what the f just happened faces.
And you probably look like that too.
What he did, I did not know he was capable of doing.
There is danger in that house.
Audrey, Keen, get your coat back.
No, you can't!
Number 4, our possibly most favorite part of this entire series, because we both looked at each other and honestly these words just came out of our mouth. What the just happened? Somebody explain this to me.
The maid in this upscale family has realized that there's something wrong with her employer, and so she removes the kids. The maid's daughter makes her bring the children back, and what do they find but the mother and father totally vamped out, and thus begins this scene where they're being hunted throughout the house. They're cornered in this room, there's no coming back, they think they're going to die, but all of a sudden they hear bullets, and they peek their head around, and there is a group, 6 or 7 people, full black combat gear, and you're thinking, oh, maybe Satrakan has some friends out there somewhere. No. Meet Folksy and his vampire SWAT team.
Grotesque face, just, hey there, sweetness, what's going on?
Did you get bit?
Let me just check you over.
Were you scared? That would have been scary. Total tone change from that episode.
Just absolutely mind-blowing because who the hell is this guy? Who is this assault team? He's clearly some kind of vampire. Why is he killing other vampires? Where did they get this vampire SWAT team?
How about you? Did they hurt you? No? Well, that's a good thing to know.
Having a little gig in New York coming up. Give me 3 or 4 of those little baby vodkas, I'll get you a front row seat.
Number 3 on the list takes place in one of the best titled episodes ever to grace television. Gone Smooth.
Now, if you don't know what that means, think about what it might imply and then wait for the end of our story.
One of the survivors of the plane crash is this goth rocker, Bolivar. And he returns home, he doesn't feel well, he's getting on with his life, his throat hurts. He's slowly degrading until this wonderful, beautiful, trying very hard to be body horror, but fails spectacularly moment happens. He's in his bathroom, popping some drugs, trying to deal with the pain. He hears a noise and he looks down. There was a splash in his toilet. He looks down, he flushes it, and then the camera pulls back, and he's a Ken doll.
That's right, his penis just fell in the toilet.
And his only reaction was to flush it.
Carl. Yeah, that does not look good.
Rejoice. Embrace
is your glorious fate.
Number 2, we have the reveal that everyone has been waiting for. You have sat through this entire series going, can't wait for this moment. And it comes and you're like, okay. So back up. We have been waiting the entire series to see the Master's face. All we have seen is him being all ghostly and flowy and just kind of in the background, swishing around, doing his thing. But the moment comes when Eichhorst is just at his lowest. He's been serving his master and it doesn't seem like he's going to get what he wants, which it turns out is eternal life as a vampire. And then in comes the Master to finally bestow eternal life and turn him into a vampire, and you get to see the Master's face. And holy crap, is it the stupidest thing I have ever seen in my life.
For a show that does so well with its makeup effects.
No. This was not okay. He looked waxy. He's missing a nose, but he kind of looks like a knockoff version of Nosferatu.
He kind of looks like one of those masks you can buy at a Halloween store.
Congratulations. Thanks for spending millions of dollars on this show. Have $5, get yourself a nice mask. This was just one of the biggest letdowns, I'd have to say, in this series. And it looks like they might have fixed it in season 2. I don't know. But as for season 1 and a big reveal, this was a big what the f moment. Just because it failed really hard. But there's hope for next season because I think they got more money.
Then it is time.
New order.
You've grown old. 8230-385.
Eichhorst.
Surprised to see me?
Our top number 1, what the moment of the strain, is the scene we like to call the White Room.
This scene comes out of the blue at the beginning of an episode. It is never explained, and it's never mentioned again.
In this scene, we see a guy, he's trapped in a white room. Why a white room? I don't know, nobody has white rooms anymore.
He's surrounded by junk food, empty Raptors, full packages, giving you the impression that he has been there for a while.
He also has a chain around his neck. Clearly doesn't want to be here, looks kind of grimy, very distressed. And in walks Eichhorst, and for once, he is not wearing any makeup. He doesn't have his prosthetic nose. He's all gray and just looks like a zombie. And in he walks and he's like, oh look, it's time for dinner.
Walks to the center of the room where the chain is connected to this gigantic stone with an indent meant for a human head.
You can tell. And he starts winding the guy in, like on
stupidly big grin on his face.
And the guy's like, no, please don't do this. He's panicking, he's freaking out. Just totally like knows he's going to die, and Eichhorst is like, no, this is cool. And he wheels him in, and the guy's head is stuck to the thing, and then he just feeds on him, and that is the end of the scene. The scene is never talked about again, never discussed. Does it reveal anything about the character? No, it does not. But there it is at the beginning of an episode, just for you.
It leaves you with a lot of questions, like, hey, Eichhorst, how long has this guy been locked up in this room?
Why do you need to tie him to a block?
Hey Eichhorst, if you want him to be a constant supply of food, wouldn't you kind of come up with some kind of splinting mechanism so the blood can flow free and you wouldn't infect him?
And where'd you get this guy anyways?
And where did you get this room?
Where are you?
Just why?
Why?
That is amusing.
So those are our top 15 what the moments in the strain.
There are, I'm sure, more to come. But just as many bad moments as there are in this series, or what the moments, there are so many good moments that we are not going to talk about. So you have to watch the series.
Season 2 starts this summer, and we are so excited.
Do your lick in the steak plate again.
about licking the steak. Like
you're like, ah. Good night to you.